internet of value at Ripple, we're thinking much bigger than just cross-border payments. It's kind of like Amazon with rare books in the early days. Just this market happens to be a $10 trillion market.
We are at a historic turning point.
Said in the past that you are doing for money what email did for communication.
Moving the whole revolution forward.
Take on it.
There's trillions of dollars parked around the world. XRP.
Is there a possibility that Ripple could take over Swift one day?
Well,
welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of 24 Hour Script. Let's get right into today's video. This is crazy. So JP Morgan is working with Ripple, and it is indisputable. JP Morgan, one of the most powerful banks on the planet, is already integrated with G Treasury, right? And G Treasury is Ripple's little baby that they just acquired 2 days ago. And I told you guys that we're going to go in detail on why this is such a monumental move. And I'm going to play some clips by Jeremy Allaire, David Schwartz, Marcus Treacher. And it is remarkable to what we are about to witness. They all told you the problem, and they gave you the solution. And the best part about all this is that the solution provider is Ripple and XRP. And everything that I say in today's episode is fact-based and, based off of research. And XRP is trading at $2.36 right now, very handsomely. But this is going to be not for long. Okay, I cannot stress that enough. But I'm sure I'll probably see many of you guys at $10 regretting not buying enough at these levels and waiting for a potential pullback. At these moments, waiting for a potential pullback is not your ideal play when we're on the verge of a major, major shift. Okay, I want to set the tone right off the bat by Jeremy Allaire. Listen to what he says here, and he's also sitting beside the head of the IMF and also the head of the World Bank. Listen to what he's saying here. And if you guys have been following us for a very long time, wow, he pretty much tells you you can't comprehend what's about to happen. It is truly, truly incredible. At this point, they're just telling you
why we need light touch regulation, because the technological progress is happening so rapidly. And my own view, for example, is that in 5 years' time, the concept of a cross-border payment is going to sound like a cross-border email. Like, when is the last time you sent a cross-border email? It doesn't even make sense. It doesn't even make sense. When all of these people had their SMS charges on their mobile phones in emerging markets, and then they all had WhatsApp and had free communications globally, they weren't asking anymore about data charges and their cell phone SMS. They didn't care what SMS was. It was gone. Yeah. And billions of people were communicating directly, freely.
Yes.
We're going through an exponential curve. We're going through an exponential curve, and I think that the innovations are things that we haven't contemplated, and that's a good thing. Are things that we haven't contemplated, and that's a good thing. That's actually a really good thing.
And before I break down this whole JP Morgan, Ripple, G Treasury, BNY Mellon, right? JP Morgan's API literally feeds real-time balance and liquidity data straight into G Treasury's platform, okay? And now Ripple owns G Treasury, which means Ripple's technology, Ripple's rails, and eventually XRP's liquidity engine are sitting right in the middle of JP Morgan's treasury infrastructure. Do you understand how massive this is? G Treasury, the system, pulls live cash positions from JP Morgan's accounts. Okay, and that data that it pulls is used by corporations to see every dollar, every flow, every payment flowing through JP Morgan in real time. So now picture Ripple sliding its own settlement layer, the XRP ledger, and underneath that flow, you suddenly, every single corporate client connected through JP Morgan's treasury network has direct line into Ripple's liquidity stack, real-time cash visibility, And it is a complete game changer. And just listen to what is being said here by David Schwartz, okay? It is just truly remarkable where we are now in 2025, and everything has fell into its position.
Was payments and settlement are in that pre-internet state. There's still that huge mismatch. It's walled garden after walled garden with limited interoperability through a massive number of limited interconnections. Liquidity is spread out, and enterprises need to keep money spread across these systems when they don't know which domestic payments they'll need to make next in which countries. The result is high cost due to trapped funds and the need to pre-fund transactions often days in advance. Today, many sovereign countries around the world want independence from such a system that gives jurisdictions like the US and the EU extraterritorial control over systems in those sovereign countries and regions. Saudi Arabia, for example, wants a payment system in the Middle East that respects their sovereignty. If each country issues their own CBDC or starts using stablecoins denominated in different regional currencies, we risk repeating this mistake yet again. We drastically need interoperability between these virtual currencies and between virtual currencies and traditional assets and systems. A CBDC, by definition, is going to carry the same capital controls, trade agreements, politics as its corresponding fiat currency did, and countries are not going to want to deal with another country's capital controls, nor should they. They're sovereign nations. If you're looking at cross-border, that key factor is interoperability. You're working across jurisdictions and across assets. You need a neutral asset in between different CBDCs, or your liquidity is going to be divided among the n-squared pairs of CBDCs. Similarly, if other assets, such as securities around the world, get tokenized, there's even more need for a neutral asset between multiple CBDCs and possibly a large number of new assets in new asset classes.
The opportunity here with CBDCs running domestically and with a bridge asset, another cryptocurrency model, a bridge asset to connect those CBDCs together, the opportunity is to deliver liquidity on point in the moment, in microseconds, from one part of the world to another. And the model that we focus on is using XRP, which is a very high velocity and very high volume digital asset. It's a free floating asset, unlike a CBDC or stablecoin. Use it as a bridge currency between these CBDCs. So you imagine a world in future where there are, let's say, 180 individual CBDCs per jurisdiction in the world. Making markets between those CBDCs is quite challenging unless you have a common single point, the bridge currency, which then enables connections to be made more efficiently and markets to be made between these individual currencies.
And CBDCs, stablecoins, they're the same thing. And they're telling you the problem. They told you the solution. And behind the scenes, they've been working on this. So that's where XRP fits perfectly. It's the bridge asset that can close the loop between these institutions without friction. So when a corporation wants to rebalance liquidity, for example, between Europe, the US, and Asia, XRP can move that instantly. You don't need your correspondent delays. You don't need to worry about trapped capital. It's actually game over. JP Morgan is already plugged into the G Treasury, and Ripple is now the one holding that plug, working with JP Morgan. And then you have BNY Mellon, right? Also integrated through G Treasury. Long in the making. So you and I both need to understand, I mean, I understand, but I hope you understand as well, that this is no longer Ripple chasing banks. This is banks using Ripple's technology by default, okay? Understand the importance of this little umbrella of JP Morgan, G Treasury, Ripple's, going through Ripple's rails and XRP as that settlement. This is the pipeline. So when Ripple says they're raising, which we talked about briefly in yesterday's episode, raising $1 billion to buy XRP, it's because they know what's coming. They're not speculating. They're stocking the shelves before the demand hits. Because once JP Morgan Treasury flows, BNY Mellon's liquidity and corporate cash management all start converging through Ripple's network, XRP will be the settlement asset sitting beneath it. You heard David. You heard Market Streeter. Okay, this isn't even a partnership. Ripple's just buying them straight out because it's not even like they're buying their competition. It's just more so of like, you kind of have to kind of work with us and we're going to be playing a major role within your ecosystem. So might as well just hand the keys over to us. We'll take it over from here. Thank you. Be well. Right? That's exactly what is going on right now. Like Ripple's throwing out, $1.25 billion buying Hidden Road, the prime broker, and now throwing another $1 billion to buy Treasury. This is Ripple quietly becoming the back of the world's largest banks. And they're not asking permission anymore. Remember, when you're backed by the IMF, you don't ask for permission. If the IMF approves and believes that you are the number one technology provider that can really solve and create a level playing field within the next global economy, it's game over. Get out the way. And that is why when the SEC sued Ripple, the day it started is the day it ended. And any of those knucklehead, airhead individuals that sat there back in the years that say, oh yeah, XRP is a security, XRP is going to lose, SEC is going to win, you can't beat the SEC, blah, blah, blah. They don't understand history. They don't understand technology. And the best part about it is we are right. And we're going to be right when XRP is at $10, $20, $30, $40, $100 because it logically has to go to those levels. To do its purpose, like you heard David, you heard Marcus Treacher, and you heard Circle CEO telling you about this exponential growth. Okay? So, Ripple and JP Morgan are officially working together. And remember what I've been saying for a very long time. Ripple could be working directly with a company or indirectly with a company. And right now, the prime example is Ripple working indirectly with a company, which is Ripple owns Treasury. JP Morgan is not, published by, they're not, they don't have the press release saying they're working with Ripple, but indirectly, yes, they are working together. Okay. And XRP is the heartbeat of all this to make all that liquidity move. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Truly a remarkable moment. All I'm going to say is whatever you're feeling right now, it's going to be a lot better in the next coming weeks, okay? These numbers are pure speculation. It is pure casino right now, and we could confirm that after the recent events. And we are at generational bottoms. I opened a couple of trades. I opened the XRP trade today. I'm not going crazy right now. I'm going to be slowly scaling back into positions. We opened a $2,300 margin, 30x, currently very risky, so do not do this, okay? Do not do this. And we do have a trade open on 2bit. We have the SUI trade that we just opened not too long ago. It's only up 14%, but for this one, we are using our other method of low leverage 300 with a 30x. Because right now, this is $2.36. This is XRP, but SUI currently is trading at $2.49. And these are some low prices for these digital assets. And remember, if you're getting into trading, do not be doing this with your long-term bags. Okay? When you're getting into this, you do understand that you're stepping into a completely new world when you get into leverage trading. And do not do high leverage. You should not be doing more than 5. Or even 3. If you want to practice, go on to the link in the description down below and take advantage of the deposit bonus for Bitunix and also on 2bit. If you deposit $5,000, $4,000, you do get an $800 deposit bonus. And if you deposit $10,000, you get a $1,500 deposit bonus that you could be walking away with any profits you make from that. Or try the demo and don't even deposit anything. Okay, try under derivatives. You will see demo trading, and then you could trade any pair that you want to get your toes wet and practice. But right now, generational bottoms. We're going to be here documenting this. You guys are going to see these, and I'm going to be opening up more positions. I'll keep you guys posted. But right now, the XRP trade is open, and right now, the 2bit SUI trade is open, and I am on the sidelines looking in some other entries, but I want to see how the next couple hours go. It is Saturday, so we're going to be going into Sunday, and then let's see if we're projected for a bullish week. Everything points to bullishness, right? Don't worry about the price action for XRP. This is nothing, okay? Right now, remember what I've said. Time is against us. Just hodl. Accumulate as much as you can. because the outcome of this is going to be truly horrific. It is going to be truly horrific. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I do appreciate every single one of you guys. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below, and we'll be back with another video.
But I think the idea of buying and holding forever and not trying to make adjustments requires that you've gotten it right in the first place. That you can only hold tight if you've bought right, if you will. And that is to say, have an asset allocation that has something to do with how many years you have to accumulate money, how much resources you have at stake, how much income you need, and how much courage you have to ride out the peregrinations of the market.
That's the way you say it. It's a long-term play.
Accept reality. Fiat money is moving digital with it.
Well, I woke up this morning, check my bags on the chain. XRPL still humming while the FUD folks complain. Ripple fighting Goliath, yeah, the SSA's game. But Johnny D and Hogan, they're bringing the flame. So we salute to the rebels in suits.
Good luck with it.
To the coders and hodlers wearing dusty old boots. Raise a toast to the ledger and the lawyers who bite, while taco stand dumps through the middle of the night.
Accept reality. Fiat money is moving
Brad
digital.
G's on the mic saying clarity now, while Shorts codes the stars with the hologram cow watch. The haters keep chirping, but the people ain't blind. This ain't some mean dream, it's the internet spine. Regulators stalling, but the clock's ticking fast. Ripple drops the case like a baseline blast. Communities united from Twitter to the street. We meme through the madness and never admit defeat.
That's the way you say it. It's a long-term
Yeah,
play.
we salute to the devs and the geeks, to the ledger that clears in seconds, not weeks. To D, to Hogan, to legal delight, and the salty old taco that just loves to spite. Hey Jed, you done yet? Or you got another dump scheduled for lunch? So here's to the warriors, the freaks, and the fans, waving salute tokens like battle flags in hand. It ain't just about coins, it's a movement, a pact. We defend what we build, and we're taking it back. Come on, salute to the ones in the fight, to the token that laughs in regulatory spite, to Schwartz, Brad, and the ones still believing, even while taco stands always leaving. One for XRP, and raise your guitar for decentralized dreams. This song's for the ledger, the truth and the proof. With a smile and a nod, we say salute.
That's the way you say it. It's a long-term play. Has to have value. Can't just be a store of value for store of value's sake. Has to actually have a use case, and that's how we see this evolving.
Okay.
We started building RippleNet with the thesis that crypto liquidity would eventually be able to support robust global payments, large payments. RippleNet was designed so that customers seeing the benefits of our fiat-based network could flip the switch to ODL once the market was mature enough. And this is exactly what's happening. Flip the switch.
I think what we're building has, it's solving a real problem. And I think all of the tokens, my advice to anybody would be, understand the utility. If there's real utility and there's real value being delivered to a real customer, there will be value in the token.